All right. Good afternoon or good morning, depending on when you're listening to this. This is Bob Turner with another episode of the Summit Podcast. I got a great guest, a great friend of mine, Matt, and I'm gonna butcher the name again. I say Adamiec, but I think it's Adamiec. Adamiec.
All of the above. I'll still respond to all of them.
I got tuned up by what I used to call Eric Ernest the other day, and it's Eric Ernest. So,
Oh yeah.
another guy you probably know from our past. So, Matt, hey, welcome to the Summit Podcast. I appreciate you coming on and taking the time to do it. Hey, it's Christmas week, but
Thanks, sir.
I got thinking before I came on. You're up in Winnipeg, right? I mean,
Absolutely.
that area. Yeah, this might be my first international podcast.
Oh, really? The Canadian. All right.
Yeah. Man, how you been? Thanks for coming on, and I did a very, very good job introducing you, but tell us who you are, what you do. Tell us about the company you own, and I'll let you do it.
Sounds good. My name's Matt Adamiec. I've known Bob from the Contractor fight back in 2020, I think it was.
21, I think. Fall of 21, I met you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, fall
Well,
of 21.
4 years.
Yeah, it's quite a few times. Yeah, a few years. I run a construction company focusing on interior remodels, mostly basements. So this year we'll do 1.5 million in revenue. We'll probably be about 100K in net profit. So less than what I was hoping for, but the first 3 quarters were great. The last quarter kind of fell on our face, so we gotta improve that. But I have a team of 7, and then we use subs. I'm up in Winnipeg, Manitoba, Canada, and I've been doing this since 2014. So going on 11 and a half years, going on 12 years, and I feel like I'm just finally gaining traction and understanding everything and being able to manipulate and grow.
All while having a wife and 2 kids, right?
That's right. Yeah.
Yeah.
2 kids, 8
Playing
and
a little
6.
hockey here and there. So they're 8 and 6 now. Wow, they were little when we first got to know each other. So
Absolutely.
yeah, man,
Babies.
time flies, doesn't it?
Time does fly. I was even talking today. It's like it's already Christmas, and I just feel like
Right.
December started.
Yeah, exactly. Well, I mean, take us back. So it's been 11 to 12 years. And, I know you've mentioned, I think you started it like just kind of working with your dad and stuff. Is that right? Like kind of, getting your feet under you. Like over the years, like what have you come to know? And I guess maybe more pointedly, like, what do you know now you wish you knew when you started the business?
Ooh. I think there's a lot of things. I think one of the biggest things that could have helped me early on is to try to find a group of people or like people that are doing what I want and to get in within a circle along those lines to be able to kind of just help grow, help navigate through things. Because it was just me. I didn't really have any, coaching groups or even like people I knew that had their own business. I was just working and trying to build something. I think that would be one of those biggest things is not necessarily know, because there's a lot of things I wish I knew that now that I knew then. But I think for me, it would be being around the same type of people that I want to get to at that stage. Maybe not too far, but a few steps down the road.
Yeah, and I know that when you and I were getting to know each other, we were kind of, I felt anyway, we may not have been, but I felt we were kind of about the same place, business-wise. So trying to use some subs, trying to use some employees. I know you said you kind of do both. And that's ultimately what I ended up doing, is kind of a hybrid of, I tried it one way, then all the other. What was your experience, and why did you land on both? Was it the same?
I didn't try one way or the other. I know I grew up with my dad. He wouldn't hire anybody. He would learn everything himself. So
Yeah.
that's kind of how I started, is I would do everything myself, even if I had to learn it and it took me all night to try to fix a railing or something. So that's kind of how I grew up. So I've started that way. However, I come to realize it's kind of hard to make money once you're learning and doing
Right.
everything that takes a long time.
Mm.
So it's like, okay, now let's get some people that have skills in these certain areas so then we can improve the timeline. But then I also want to build something that employs a lot of people and can build a culture of growth, like where people want to get better through working with Valdek or in Valdek. And I've always wanted to have employees, I'm still going to have employees and grow internally because I feel like we get a better return if I have employees that are committed to the company mission, the values, and there's a bit more control in that sense where we
Mm.
can create an experience. I know we can give expectations to stubs and stuff like that, but they ultimately have their own interests, and sometimes that's difficult to get them to follow through on. So I feel like there's a better way to mold employees on how I want them to, be respectful on the job site, keep things clean, keep things like respectful. No, how in construction you typically look at the guy that's, swearing or they have no manners, stuff like that. I'm not building a culture like that. My culture, yeah, we can have fun, we can have jokes, we can say stupid things. But at the end of the day, everyone's respectful, everyone cleans up after themselves, everyone cares about getting the work done well and right, and we'll do that.
Yeah, that aligns with your what I've heard you say in the past, like seeing a client's reaction at the end of a job is more important to you than a paycheck, right? And so, and I always felt I tried to be that way as well, but that's not something everyone leads with, Matt. I always tried to. I felt like I was different that way. Why was it so? Why is that so important to you?
In terms of
Just making sure that
the
you're doing a
employees,
great job, seeing that client's reaction at the end.
well, I look at the long-term game.
Hmm.
Like if I'm able to satisfy the clients, whether it affects my profit margin a bit, I'm going to take that road probably 10 times out of 10 because I know in the long term it's going to improve my chances of just bringing more people in, bringing more customers, doing the right thing. I think there's a big, I guess I shouldn't say stigma, but like society now is how can I get paid for the least amount of work and the most amount of money? And it's just like I tell my guys, all my employees, like when you're faced with a decision and let's say we're behind on profit, but you have a decision where you can do something fast and it'll cut some corners or do it right, but it'll take some longer. Always do the right thing even though we're already kind of behind, we still want to do the right thing, and then
Hmm.
we'll review the project and we'll adjust. And then next time it'll be a little bit less, or hopefully we won't run into
Yeah.
that issue.
Yeah, that is truly top down too. Like if you don't adopt that those core values and that culture, and you don't push that out, nobody's bringing it back to you, right? I mean, it's just like you have to model the behavior that you want to see, right?
Absolutely. Absolutely. I think the biggest change in my business has been in the last about year in terms of personnel is I've established core values in the business and we walk through them in our meetings and I hire, I fire based on them. And the people that it's funny because on my hiring ads, I put our core values on the ad and I say, hey, this is what we stand for, this is what we do, and this is what we're looking for in terms of the person. And 3 of the 4 people we have that we've hired in the last year, I asked them, well, what kind of brought you to call me and interview? And all of them are like the core values. You
Wow.
know, they're interested in, hey, these guys stand for something. I like what they stand for. Let's have a conversation, that kind of
Yeah.
thing. And when I talk to subs and other people that run business and they're like, oh, I can't find good people and stuff like that. And I look at it that way. It's like, I will never say I can't find good people because that's not true. It's going to
Mm.
take a little more time to find a good person. I think I have a better chance of finding that person that aligns with our core values if I have them out there and not trying to get somebody in and then seeing if they're aligned with our core values.
Yeah, that's good stuff. And it's is that something that's just kind of come over the last few years? Did you start with that in mind, or were you just kind of blowing and going, and then kind of get some coaching and get a tribe and kind of come around to that, or was it something you started with?
I definitely didn't start with it.
Yeah.
I was just, trying to do a business. This is a business. We got employees. It was kind of, I guess it was more surface level, I guess you could say. There's a business. We got to run a business. We need employees. We need to produce work. I've always wanted to produce a good quality job and
Mm.
uh, have things strong so people aren't calling me back. That was always in there. But then the flip side of it, where it's like operating the business and then creating a space where people can come work and build careers and grow, that really didn't come until till about 2022, I think it was. I was in a group call with Empire. I think it was Empire.
Yep. Yeah. It was part of the contract, right? Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Um, and we're doing a group call, and Jacob Godar said something about his company with trying to create an environment where his people can learn and grow. And that kind of hit me and resonated. And then I started thinking, okay, how can I do this within my business? And I started with some core values I've refined over the last year and or the last couple years, and now we're set on something where it's like, hey, this is what the company stands for in terms of core values, and this is the direction we want to head. And it's really helped bring people on board that align with that and care as well. Not to say there's not challenges with that, but it makes things easier where you're not having to babysit
Mm.
people to
Yeah.
make decisions, the right decisions.
Now, what would you say to a younger guy? I mean, like that kind of information right there is something, we all wish we had sooner, right? So if there was a younger guy or girl watching this that's kind of just getting started, or maybe in their first couple of years, what would you want them to know?
Just getting started in business,
Yeah.
you'd say? Yeah.
Yeah.
I would say, let me just think about this here. I would say don't make it about the money. It is important to know your numbers and know how much things cost and what it costs to operate it. But look at a bigger picture. Look at it as helping people solve a problem, and then align values that you live by with that to be able to provide a experience for somebody. Whether it's you're selling a product or selling a service, like everybody has values that they align with. If you can incorporate those values, as long as they're good values, you're not trying to rip people off and stuff like that, it's only a matter of time before you can achieve success. It's just what the time is.
Sounds like lead with the important things. The money will follow, right? I mean, isn't that,
Exactly.
yeah, and it sounds like you've done that. And in 10 or 12 years or so, and you're now at like about 1.4, you clearly you've made the foundational stuff important, because it's
Yeah.
impossible to, like, if you scale without that, you're gonna break it, right? If you don't have that, like, just throw a bunch of people in the company. Yeah, we did 3.6 million, but everybody hates each other. Nobody's on time, and we don't deliver a quality experience. You can say, "Hey, we're at 1.4, but we arrived here with some things. We're dialed in. Our guys know the core values. They know the culture. They probably correct behavior on site with others before you even see it. If I had to guess, whether it's from a sub
Absolutely.
or yeah, yeah, that's gotta feel pretty good, Matt, doesn't it?
It does. It does, because it feels like everybody that I work with, on my team, has my back. If a sub's on site and my guys are there and they're kind of struggling or doing something that they shouldn't be, well, my guys are the first ones to speak up. Hey, make sure you cover the floor, cover the furniture. There's standards here. So I've never
Yeah,
seen myself, like, it's been tough to see myself in this position, like, in the past, but now that I'm here, it's like, okay, let's continue to grow. It feels good.
yeah. Well, speaking of that, where, in 5 years, where will you be or hope to be where you said, well, I kind of didn't see myself here either?
Well, I can give you my 20-year vision, because that's
Let's
where
go.
what I've been focusing on the
Okay.
most. I plan to have Valdek Corp, which is going to be kind of a design project management firm. And then we will have partners of people like we'll have a framing crew, like a framing business, a drywall
Mhm.
business, electrical business, plumbing business. But the way I want to structure it is because I see a lot of guys that are plumbers, electricians, stuff like that, working for somewhere. And then they're like, oh, we're going to start our own business. And it's like, well, you could do the work, but the business side, two different jobs, and they're all full time. They're both full time jobs.
Right. Which one
So
do you want? Yeah. Can't do
yeah,
both well.
exactly. So my vision is to kind of partner as Valdek, being like those kind of companies, being sister companies to help support in growth, in marketing, in scheduling, and building teams and building a culture.
Mm.
That way, one, I can kind of have, for lack of a better term, a monopoly on like all the subs. If we're doing a renovation, hey, our electrician, we need to be here, and we can kind of manage that schedule well. And then again, with providing a company and a lot of employees, I want to have a big building that houses everybody, along with kind of a daycare, because I know childcare is always a struggle, a gym, and like perks like a library and stuff like that for people that operate in the company.
It's a big vision. I like it.
That is a big vision.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Add a little Google to experience to the office, right?
I guess so.
Just go down to the daycare and pick up your child at the end of the day. No more excuses on why you can't come to work, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, you got to go to the gym, provide all that. That's good stuff, man. I thought of that years ago. I was like, what if we were like ABC Construction, ABC Consolidated, or whatever, and you had the guy that liked, he was a master plumber, and he liked to just go to work and do work. He didn't like the business side of it. Say, listen, if we got a deal for you, you can be a co-owner, so to speak, of that division, and you pay him well, right? And he goes out and he creates, basically creates his own experience, and you coach him, and you provide the culture, you provide the admin and all that, and you just go right down the line with every single trade. Sounds simple, right?
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
yeah, I think that if I was going to do it, I'd just start with a trade, and they'd say, okay, we're going to do this and do this well. Then we're going to take that model and we're going to scale it. We're going to do it again, rinse and repeat. Only thing that's going to change is the name of the trade, right? So that's exciting, man. I hope that goes well for you. So 20 years from now, so you mentioned at the beginning of the call, happy birthday. Today's your birthday. So yeah, how many more years before you fulfill this 20-year plan? Is that 20 years from now?
Wow, that's where I'm looking at it.
Yeah.
Maybe
Okay, cool.
15. We could probably
Yeah.
do it in 15.
Well, that would be a pretty, I mean, what would that afford you in life at that point? Would you say, yeah, that's success? If not, how else do you define success in your life right now?
Right now, okay, so yes, because it's a vision of mine. So that 20-year, like, yes, I would consider myself successful now to then. If we get there, I probably would still be thinking bigger and saying, "Oh, we're not successful yet."
Move those
It's
goalposts, right?
yeah, that's right, that's right. But right now, I think it's impact and influence, and trying to provide that to whoever I talk to on a daily basis now. Right now, a lot of it is my team and trying to provide them impact and influence and also support in what they need. Yeah, that's kind of where I'm at with success
Yeah.
at
No,
this point.
that's awesome. There was another question I had for you, but it was off that one. But I got thinking about something different to ask you, and I lost my train of thought, which happens when you're another 20 years older than you are now.
That's right.
Yeah, I mean, what's a typical day for you, Matt? I know you're not you're no longer on the tools, right? The last time we talked, I think you were on the site and doing what you could do. But how's a typical day and week go for you now? What are you hitting?
So right now, uh, I'll do it right now because it's going to change in a few months because we've just hired a designer and a
Hmm.
coordinator, and I've brought one of my guys in and promoted him to project manager. So he's been running well, but right now my days consist with a lot of different things. I try to structure my weeks in kind of having like sales time, project management time. team meetings, and then putting out fires. So like, I don't think I have a typical day. It
Yeah.
changes every day,
Right.
but usually it consists of training, sales, looking over and reviewing estimates, going to job sites to kind of help problem solve or
Mm-hmm.
move forward things, look at details,
Right.
inspect framing, stuff like that. There's a bunch of other things too I do, but
Yeah.
where I'm trying to get to, and my focus for the first quarter of 2026 is going to be to establish Kaylee and Tristan in their positions, which would give a lot of time back to me where I can
Mm-hmm.
focus on the sales side of it, because
Yeah.
I'm still doing all the sales along with that. So I want to make more time for that so we're able to grow.
Yeah, I find that a lot of the guys that I coach today, refer to themselves as like the bottleneck or the choke point, right? Do you feel like you're kind of in that uh, stage of existence or a life stage of the business? Have you moved beyond it, or are you kind of coming up on it? Are you the choke point?
Yes and no. So I think about 6 months ago, I would 100% agree with you. Now I'm still a choke point for certain things. So I'm getting out of that choke point, which I think by the end of quarter one, 2026, I will no longer be a choke point on the project execution side.
Nice. Nice. Well, I remember a story when you came to, and you can you can tell this story when you came to Denver once,
Yeah.
and everything went great until you decided to go home, right?
Ah, it did. It starts way before that. That's for sure. Starts way before that. It did it didn't go great ever since I first landed.
That's actually a good point. That was a rough trip, wasn't it?
Hey, you know what? It wasn't rough. It was I told myself I'm going there for adventure. That's exactly what I got. I
Yeah.
got adventure.
What I
That's for
remember
sure.
most is you losing your passport and having to kind of, sneak your way back across the Canadian
Yeah,
border. Can we
that's
say that
right.
on the
Yeah. Yeah, I totally did. Totally did. Yeah. That
Well,
that was interesting.
if I'm gonna get arrested, it might as well be in my own country, right?
Yeah, that's right. I walked across the border.
Yeah.
They kind of looked at me funny, but it was fun.
Yeah. Well, I'm home.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, that didn't start. That started with me, my credit card being locked out, and me trying to rent a car, and
That's
then
right.
trying
I
to deal
remember
with that.
where it started.
Right once I landed too, it's like, okay, here we
Yeah.
go.
Nothing but curveballs.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
right.
Yeah, we went on a great hike. I mean, I remember we really enjoyed some time together. We went up into the Rocky Mountains, a group of us, and we climbed Mount Ida. And I don't know if you're aware of this, but I went back a couple years later and brought Wendy with me, and I got
Okay.
engaged right at the top of the
Really?
mountain where you and I and Sonny and Kobus and who
Yeah,
else was with it? David Zemchek.
David. Yeah,
We're all there, and so I that place left such an impression on me that we went back. We stayed in
nice.
an Airbnb nearby, and I wanted to share all of that with Wendy and took her back, and I said, you know what? Once I get her up at high altitude, I'm gonna ask her, and it worked.
Get her a little lightheaded, so she's not
Yeah,
thinking clearly. I
yeah.
got it.
Would have been a little
Perfect.
bit of a long walk down after she said no, but I lucked out, and
Yeah,
but I remember that day. We
awesome.
had a long day, didn't we? Because we had somebody that was kind of struggling. But I remember how you operated on that day, and you were dialed in on that, and you weren't going beyond where he could go. We were going to get him up there, and it took a lot
Absolutely.
of patience and perseverance, and we made it, didn't we?
Yeah, absolutely.
That was a
That
good
was
day.
fun. Yeah,
That's a good
and
day.
I think there's a lesson in that too. Like just even with me and my kids and trying to be patient to teach them the skills that they need to do that I haven't even got taught
Right.
from my parents.
Sure.
But patience
Yeah.
is key
Yeah.
word.
Well, that kind of leads into my next question as we kind of move toward the finish line here. I know you've got stuff to do. It's a busy week. I won't keep you too much
All good.
longer. With my book, Finding Your Edge, I talk a lot about the edge, and I refer to it as where you go when the shit hits the fan, right? How you show up differently than others, okay, in adversity, and what you bring to the table that others don't. Okay, so as you think about how that relates to you. I would ask you, Matt, what do you feel like your edge is?
It's a good question.
That's what I do.
I would say, so this is one thing that I'm working on myself right now, and I don't know if I can say I can consider it my edge currently, but working on it is being able to push past the overwhelm and focus on the things that need to be done with all the noise around me. Being in the business, growing, having more employees, having things, more responsibilities. I can get caught in the weeds like crazy, making sure people are doing what they need to, and then lose track of what I need to do and what my priorities are and what I bring to the business. And so it's kind of like a twofold question, because I feel like my edge is building relationships, sales, helping people, that kind of stuff. And if
Yeah.
I'm not doing that and I'm caught up in the weeds, that doesn't happen and we don't grow. So I guess what I'm trying to do is sift through everything so I can continue to work on my edge. It's interesting.
Good perspective, man, and it goes right back to what we started talking about initially, which is hiring good people.
Absolutely.
Right? Because if you don't have the good people, then you're like putting out fires and just, going this way and that all day long, and probably get pissed off when you come home and feel exhausted. And I was just talking about this on my daily live this morning. Exhausted, you worked all day, but you didn't get anything done.
Right.
You know? And I've had times, I tell this story all the time, where I've come down here to do stuff when I was in contracting and have so much to do that you just want to reach up and just close the laptop.
That's right. Or
Yeah.
you look at that list and it's like, I ain't touching this today.
Yeah, not a fun place to be. So this has been fun, man. Hey, you told me before, Valdek. Explain the name.
My middle name is Valdemar.
Okay.
And my cousins would just call me a short name, like middle name is Valdek, and then that's kind of what stuck. And I'm like,
good old
okay,
hockey name. It's a good hockey name, right?
I guess so. Yeah.
You don't want Valdek coming at you. It's gonna hurt.
Yeah, in the hockey context, sure. Not on the renovation context.
Right. You still playing hockey? Good. I know how much that means to you, and you like that and enjoy it.
Yeah.
One more question. I always ask people this, and toward the end, I ask people, I give them the mic and say, it's yours. The floor is yours. We're not exactly, we're not seeing, 1.5 million views, but a lot of people will see this.
Mm-hmm.
From a business standpoint or a life standpoint, just simply, what do you wish people knew? Like, what do you want people to know?
I guess what I would say is I would want people to know that whatever they want to achieve, it's possible. Whatever vision that they have, it's possible. Yeah, I got a big 20-year vision. I ain't gonna achieve that tomorrow. It's a lot of work, but I'm willing to commit to it. So I would say that don't be scared of your commitments. If you want to achieve something and go for it, go for it. You shouldn't be afraid to take the action towards it.
Yeah.
Don't let anybody stop you from what you want. Absolutely. Thank you. Absolutely.
Hadn't done many of these for a few months. I said, damn it, I need to reach out to some people. I know a lot of people, and it'd be great to have some conversations. Who cares about the podcast? We just get to catch up a little bit, right?
Yeah.
So I'm glad for that. I'm glad we were able to utilize it for this. Anything I forgot to ask you?
When are we meeting up next?
Right, yeah. Well, we're not coming up there, so when are you coming?
Come on. Minus 30 and like 6 feet of snow?
I gotta get my passport straightened out. It's a thing. Yeah, you think it's cold. We were complaining about 21 degrees here this morning. I know you probably drop it another 30 or 40 degrees where you're at. So
yeah, we're minus 12 Celsius, so not bad.
That's brutal. Well, I'm sure that's a lot to manage. Man, it's good to connect with you. You're doing good things, and you're doing it from the right place. I like that. I know you're a good dad and husband, business owner, boss, all the stuff. And I know a lot of the things that are important to me are important to you. So I know that's why we've always been able to connect. So I appreciate you. I miss seeing you, and I want to thank you for coming on.
Awesome. Thanks, Bob.
Guys, it's been Matt Adamiec. Matt Adamiec.
Adamiec
On the Summit Podcast. Guys, dial it up, share it out with your friends. Matt, we'll get you a copy of this, and then we'll be international. Appreciate you coming, buddy. Take care.
Yeah.
Thanks, guys.